Hey friends, welcome back. Since we have been kind of just like rolling through these things um, that I've been wanting to do and completing things little by little, um, it's time to get back to something that I started a long time ago. And I'm pretty sure that I started it on my other channel. Um, and this was before I had an external hard drive. So I had deleted those videos or else I would just upload them to this channel. But what I'm going to do is just take pretty much like every video that I do and try to duplicate it on each channel because partially for like a little experiment for you if you are supporting both channels, and that is that a lot of people say that they don't want to listen to the videos in double speed because they can't understand what's going on. Well, you don't know what I'm going to say before I say it anyway. So a lot of times when you're, hang on, okay, we all have different interests, and some people, I, I would say that probably everybody um, repeats things and watches them again, even though they know what the outcome is. So a lot of times you don't get it the first time, right? You might not even, you might watch a movie and not really like it the first time, but you might watch it a second or third time and or in a different circumstance in life. And then it takes on this whole new meaning. And like music, for instance, that's like the one thing that we all, after we hear a song for the first time, it doesn't really have a place to sit with us. It doesn't have like this pattern within us that has already been established, but the music might remind us of something else, like another song that we liked, or a certain like pattern of music notes or something, or like the content of the words. It speaks to us in some kind of way. But then the more that you listen to that music, then it's almost like it solidifies um, different times of importance in life. Like as the music, it started out at a certain age when you first heard it, and then you listen to it for the rest of your life, and like it takes on new meaning every time. And so what I'm trying to say is that you don't really know what I am going to say because I don't even know what I'm going to say on these videos before I hit record. Okay, so I have like an idea of it, but a lot of times, um, if you're we're used to conversations that are very simple, right? Where we talk about the weather or what we've heard on the news or whatever. And that gives us an opportunity to like communicate with each other and commune, right? Over a topic that is common. But a lot of times that's what creates problems in conversation is that we find out that somebody that we really like has an opposing viewpoint on this content that we've both consumed, right? And it's based on what your influences are from birth and from the environment around you. And so all that is to say that what I think would be interesting is if you subscribe to both channels, and if you are the type that likes to listen to content in normal speed, what I would say is that rather than listening to it in normal speed, because you're committing the same amount of time to it, listen to it twice in double speed, right? So like from one channel to the next. And what that does is that's like a win-win for the content of what I'm trying to do, but also that you're understanding what I'm saying better. So if you don't like it the first time, then you might not like it the second time. And I get that. But it's like uh, the second time that you listen to something, you know a little bit ahead of time what is coming, like what content is coming. So it is like, it helps to I don't know, have you ever watched a movie with the subtitles on when you've watched that movie over and over and over again and you pick up on all these things that you never saw before or you never like heard before? That's kind of why it's interesting. Or the way that they describe the music in the subtitles, there's all these interesting extras that you get some content from. So, you know what? I won't even use this video to start reading the book again, but I'll just use it to just to introduce this concept of if you are willing to try something with me that is like a little bit more challenging than what you're used to, it's like you can even go up to 3x speed or 4x speed. And what you can do with that is that if you bump it up, but that's only if you subscribe to YouTube, right? So if you pay like the monthly subscription, um, but even if you don't, you can still boost the speed up to 2x. But if I have started listening to a lot of my content, I mean a lot of content on YouTube in 3x speed. So when I go down to 2x speed, I'm like, holy shit, it's so slow, right? So that's the benefit of challenging yourself because a lot of people say like, oh, I would never do that, or I wouldn't handle that situation in that kind of way. It's like, yeah, because you never were given the perspective to or seen it modeled for you but I have to live with the feelings within myself after I do something, right? Or when I'm in the middle of it. And so I don't like to go back and feel like, man, I should have handled that better, right? So I'm always challenging myself in the moment to um to be the best of myself, even though later on my ego might be like, yeah, we should have said it like this, or we should have said it like that. It's like, it's okay, ego. You know, I know what you're going for. But I feel better inside when I just handle things in the best way possible. So when I opened this book to try to find where I had left off, I think I read like the introduction and the first three chapters. And so we're going to be on chapter four. But I saw that I had this woman's business card. And so I just want to shout her out. Her name is Myra Getz, and she is a jewelry designer. But I have had business cards. I've had like 3 or 4 different business cards, and even though I don't like promoting my business, I don't like selling myself to people. I just don't like that. I feel like if somebody is interested in what I'm doing, they're going to want to invest in what I'm doing. But I've always had a business card because our world changes, and like when I moved up here in 2018, I was like, dang, I don't know um how like people communicate anymore. It used to be that we would have one home phone number. And so if your kids were friends with a new kid, like let's say you move and your kids start meeting new people, or you have to like get involved in things that your kids are doing at school or whatever. I was like, I don't know what people do anymore. Uh, to like exchange their phone numbers or communication. So what I did was I created this business card, and I love Step Brothers, okay? And I always think it's funny when my name is integrated in some sort of movie that's like funny and where it puts my name in sort of a bad light. So Step Brothers is one of those because like one of the John C. Riley is named Dale, okay? And Will Ferrell is named Brennan. And so they become stepbrothers, but they hate each other at first, and then they start to realize like what nerds they are, and and they have these same nerdy things that they really love. And there's that scene, did we just become best friends? Yep. Right. So I had a business card that was made like that. And on the front side, it said, I think my name and did we just become best friends? And on the back side, it says, yep. And it had my name and phone number. And the intent behind that was like, I don't really have a business, even though I did have a business at that time. It was called Black Orchid Design. And that was sort of the business that I had started it was definitely the business that I had started for renovating my house after it flooded, but it gave the concept by being called Black Orchid Design that it wasn't just construction, right? It wasn't just construction work. It was like I could morph it into multiple different things. So I did have a business card for that too. Um, and maybe I can find them somewhere because I think I did like I saved like each one of my business cards. And then I created one for Cohesion Through Chaos, and that's already like out of date. I didn't put a phone number on it because my phone number is not local to this area. And I if I just had a business card out somewhere with a non-local phone number in this area, I think it would have less, I don't know. I think it would be less trustworthy. Like they don't, it's like, where are you from? I don't even recognize your area code, right? So there's like, they don't feel like there's this commonality yet, right? So I'm not trying to start a business with the concept of like, hey, I'm non-local, but I'm trying to like make money in your area. So I put my website on it, but I have since like dismantled the website because it's old fashioned. Websites are not necessary anymore. There's so much free content out here like Facebook or TikTok or what are the others? Instagram. So there's so many other options. And my daughter, she wants to figure out how to make money because she wants to go on this trip and different things. And I'm like, okay, you help me do the things that I don't feel like doing when it comes to this channel. And then you help me build money. And then I just give you the money that you need. Right. So the point going back to this business card is the fact that this woman is from New Mexico, but I met her in the local gas station, like right around the corner from me. And I don't even know how we started talking, but maybe I complimented a necklace that she had on. And then she told me that she made it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting because I make my own jewelry. And so yeah, we happened to run into each other in this random place. It's not random for me because it's my community, but she was just passing through this area. And so we both had business cards to exchange with each other, right? So it's like that's how you create familiarity and home and other locations besides what you already know. And so I know that if I'm ever going through New Mexico, I already know somebody, and it's just in a moment, right? It was just in that moment. And that's how I have a lot of my friendships. It's so strange and it's so beautiful. And it's because I'm such an introvert. I'm so much more comfortable in my own space that the concept of trying to maintain friendships, like in the regular world, I think they end up being based on shallow content of just talking about the weather and the environment and like what you all know and what you grew up with together. And, long relationships, long-term relationships are beautiful. But what's even more beautiful is when you have a gap in between, like the last time that you spoke, and you give each other room to grow and do your thing. Because in your closest relationships, you don't really give room for that because you're like hesitant about what it means to you if somebody grows beyond what you knew them to be because you're afraid of doing that in your own life. It's like you know what burns inside of you, you know what it's important to you, but you know that if you reveal that to people that you love and then they sort of crush your dreams and you're like, damn, like you're my family. I really wanted you to support that. If you're not going to support me in that, who will? And you just have to realize like your family they they have their own fears. It doesn't matter what age they are, but it was so funny because yesterday was Mother's Day and I was together with my family and I was just kind of talking about how like I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't give a fuck anymore about all the things that I'm afraid of because of like what people are going to think about me because my family has watched me go through all these difficult things. And in the moment, I'm just sort of like doing it with a smile on my face and saying, "Don't worry, everything's going to be okay." And it's like I know that they get frustrated. I know, but it's like from a distance. So how I don't want them to get overly frustrated. So I try to make sure that I sugarcoat these things because I know that they can't do anything about it. And I know that if they love me, they're going to want to do something about it, but what can they do? I can't even solve these things, right? The people who are hired to solve these things for me, they're not, they don't respond to me like lawyers and all these just different things. It's like I have been in this vacuum of my own um, trust in God because everybody that tells me like, "Oh, you should get a lawyer for these things," or whatever, it's like they're doing their best to say the things that are supportive of what I'm going through. It's 12:21 when I was looking at the timer, and that's a reflective, that's a palindrome when it comes to numbers. Thank you, Nick, every time. Um, so boy, our gathering yesterday was just it was the same feeling as what we always have when we get together, but the content was just so different. The old stories that have been talked about over and over again, we were hearing different sides of them that we hadn't heard before, like me and my sister and my brother-in-law and my kids and, sort of the kids of the family who were all adults now. But, my dad and his brother and my aunt and my mom, they were telling sides of the story that hadn't been told before. And that was because the content of what we were bringing up was different. Like I was telling them about certain things that were changing in my environment instead of like rejecting it. Like I know how to use psychology in order to communicate with each person. And it's not that I'm trying to trick them. I'm trying to communicate with them in the way that I know works best. Instead of like fighting them about these things, I tailor my conversations towards each person in a way that they would communicate so that they can understand what I'm saying and we can get to the point of like where we all feel good about the same topic in the least amount of time possible. It's like learning how to talk to people so that they will support what you have going on because you're supporting them in a way of like tailoring conversation for their comfort. Okay. So anyway, um, yeah, if you're ever in New Mexico, first of all, check this lady out, or at least check out her website, myragadsonjewelry.com. Okay, that's MYRAGADSONJEWELRY.com. Okay. So anybody who comes into my environment and is like kind enough to just be kind to me, I'm like, yo, I just want to like blow up their spot in a good way and make them tons of money because they deserve it just for being brave in this world and for being kind and compassionate. But yeah, so I have been talking about on the channel starting a Rage Against the Machine cover band called Lady of Rage Against the Machine. And also like I really want to do a band called Long Black Veil, which is a Johnny Cash song, though I don't know if it originated from him. That's where I first heard it. And specifically on Live at Folsom Prison, that album. I really, really like it. And when I think about something, I have the whole vision of how I want it to come out. So I don't really like talk too much about it ahead of time because I know people will be like, "Ah, that's never going to happen. You never finish what you start," and blah 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 blah. So I'm just kind of approaching things differently in a way where I can just feel comfortable no matter how I say something, no matter where I am at. And I think my family's watched me go through enough stuff that they're like, it hasn't worked out for her every other way. So what's the harm in like listening to how she is speaking about it and what her kind of plans are with things. So what I'm trying to get to is that when we were sitting down for dinner last night, um, I was talking about this concept of a Rage Against the Machine cover band, and my brother-in-law like was at the table, and he I'm not trying to pressure him into anything because I know that like him and his brother, um, they're involved in a lot of things, but it's more about the comfort of me. Like if I were actually going to do this, if I'm actually going to do this, and I'm going to go and get on stage just to because it's fun. It's fun. It's fun for me. It's fun for my kids. Like we're always singing in the car because that's where we like get this little studio space of where we listen to the music that we like and we all sing along together and they know all the music that I like and I like the music that they like. So it's about like I want to share that kind of energy with a crowd full of people. And that's the only reason why I'm willing to get up and do these things. It's not because I'm comfortable doing them, but if I am going to do them because I just keep feeling like it would be fun to do it, then I have to create a space of comfort around me. It's like I have a dress on right now, but I have to like wear the sweater over it because I feel more comfortable doing so. And it's like if I were going to be up on stage with people, the three people that I want in this band with me are my brother-in-law, his brother, who I consider my brother-in-law also, and my cousin, because my cousin was like such a good drummer back in the days of like when Green Day had first started and Rage Against the Machine. All this was all right around the same time. It was like early 91, 92. And I feel like a lot of these different bands, what they were singing about is all had to do with what was going on the West Coast at that time. It was like Rodney King and LA riots, and it doesn't matter if the band was Sublime or Green Day or Dr. Dre or Rage Against the Machine. It was like the content was all, it's like when a certain concept comes in and people pick it up all over the world, that's because it's like this sort of it's this non-physical information that is coming in. Like a lot of inventions will happen around the same time. Pyramids, step pyramids, all these different things of like historically when we can look back at it, certain types of artwork, certain styles of music, it shows itself globally, but only a certain amount of people are willing to pick it up. It's like a concept that you think about in your mind. You're like, yeah, that would be a good idea. But so many of us sit back on those ideas and then we see it come out through somebody else and we're like, damn, I thought about that, right? I should have taken it. It's like there was a poet who once said that the poetry would come to her. It's almost like she could see it coming in on the wind. And if she didn't run with it, it would pass her by. So, like one time, she was like, she had to literally run home to chase this poem that was that had come to her when she was out working in the fields or something, and it was like she knew that she was going to lose it if she so you have to be committed to your muse, right? The energy that you can't see and how it's delivered to you. So she like had to run home and write down that poem, and I will figure out eventually like who that was that I'm talking about, but it might have been somebody like Maya Angelou. It was like that type of person, like that time frame of poetry. So yeah, so my cousin was like playing drums back at the time when this music first started coming out. So I don't think that he still plays, but I know what a good drummer he was. And it would be my comfort zone to be able to play up on stage with these men who are essentially my brothers who have known me since I was like 5 years old. My cousins, obviously, since birth, but there's a train coming by. So I'm going to end it with that. Okay. It's almost a 20-minute video. It was 19 minutes as I looked at it. I love you, and I will pick back up with the reading. All right. Bye.